Well, we are now recording. So, welcome everyone to the Gnostic Union. We have here now Deacon Edgar, who will shortly be a priest within the union. And we are honoured to have here Edgar. And we would like to discuss a little bit about your theology, as you are also aligned to Valentinianism and you also have a lot of knowledge in regarding to Buddhism and Hinduism that I thought you could also share with us quickly.
Yes, I'm very happy to be with you, dear Bishop Nathan, and all of you, dear brothers and sisters. I'm really, really inspired to be rejoining actually, and very grateful for this opportunity. That's very nice. So, well, I'm still definitely studying a lot, as probably all of us do. And I'm really got interested in Gnosticism. I guess about 5 years ago that I got to know about it. For a long time, I was into Buddhism and then also Hinduism. For many years, I actually lived in Asia, in Nepal and Thailand, doing some academic things there in the field of mostly Buddhism, but also working as a tourist guide in Nepal, which actually I still do when I go to Nepal, so I can bring some people or, you know, mostly since I'm originally from Russia, mostly I do it in Russian language. That just happens that there are lots of people interested in Nepal and, those who are Russians, but can be done in English anyway. So that's what I've been doing for the last 15 years or so. And a few years ago, I moved to Israel, where I'm staying now. So definitely being inspired by Gnosticism as well. I had no idea, actually. I was very ignorant before I found out about Gnosticism, that Christianity actually has all that as well. You know, all that I studied in Buddhism and Hinduism, you can get it in mystical Christian traditions, and particularly in Gnosticism. And I was completely flabbergasted that, wow, I didn't know. So I started reading and talking to various teachers and associations, and got more and more interested. So, and it's also great that being Gnostic, you can also combine things with other spiritual traditions. That is very, very welcoming and broad-minded for sure. So that's basically my situation right now, and I'm happy to be with you all, and I really would like to be of service to you.
It's
Thank you.
absolutely lovely to have you here as well, Edgar. It's always lovely to see more Gnostic Christians. And I mentioned before, being with you mostly aligned to Valentinianism, the Gnostic Union itself has also been inspired by Valentinianism, borrowing from it, if you will, as we have bishops and priests and Valentinian Gnostic Christian theology, philosophy, spirituality, whichever people prefer the term as, had priests and bishops. Valentinius, the founder, was a bishop, and he was almost made Bishop of Rome, which in our today's language would call Pope, which is fantastic. So a Gnostic Christian was almost in charge of the entire faith, being the figurehead. Fantastic. However, he was rejected in favor of someone else, and he had his own school of thought, which was very popular. So Gnostic Christians have had a history of having priests and bishops. Unfortunately, as we got a bit bigger, we were always shut down by the other side of things, by orthodoxy, if you will. So, but here in the Gnostic Union, we want to bring back a unity of Gnostic Christians, as a lot of Gnostic Christians in the ancient past certainly got along. They read each other's writings, though not particularly agreeing with one school of thought. They might choose their own. They in turn would still take on that writing, looking for spiritual knowledge. They would search Buddhist text, Hindu text, or their understandings to seek spiritual knowledge, believing that was within all religions, inner truth. So we as Gnostic Christians want to bring other Gnostic Christians together, as the world certainly hates us enough. And unfortunately, there is still a lot of division. And we want to stand out compared to the rest of Christendom, if you will, compared to the Paulidians, which is a term that us Gnostics would use, as we see them more as followers of Paul, not followers of Christ, implying that teaching and searching within to become Christ-like. though many Protestants today do have somewhat of a mystical understanding, not realizing they're borrowing from Gnosticism. But the point is that we offer a place here to be unified again, to see each other as children of God. But within the priesthood, we accept each other's beliefs. We can be different schools of Gnostic thought and still get along and show something unique. And I'm thinking that would be very standouting to you, Edgar. You would have noticed this personally with all the different schools of thought.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And it's a special feature, I guess, of Gnostic understanding that you allow and you accept that there could be various ways to the same realization. Yeah, because it's internal matter. It's not something that you can get by only reading, or you have to get some internal knowledge. That's basically the gnosis, the true understanding of your own nature. And there are obviously various ways to that, and it must be accepted. Otherwise, we are very, very narrow-minded, and we believe in our little tiny ways, which was for me always very strange, because the world is big. There are lots of various traditions, and obviously nobody can claim exclusivity to anything, because it's just not the way things are. So time, place, and circumstances. Yeah. So the different teachings were given to different people depending on those factors. So I'm happy that this is at the core of Gnostic understanding.
And it's, again, a very big treasure to have you here again, Edgar, as we have now a lot more multiculturalism, if you will, within the union. As you are technically living in Israel, we have other members in the US, now in Canada, and here, me, I guess, Australia, and also South Africa, which is really cool. So a couple of different places, which is also unique, because most churches are bound by that one community, which is the feature of the online world, I guess we could say, a little bonus. So we can be different places around the world and come together, which is also a great hub for Gnostic Christians, as it's very hard to find local communities. And we offer something online as well, so that way people can find other schools of thought and take on different approaches, and also a safe place to learn and a safe place for our priests and bishops to speak, and also to encourage our spiritual paths that will be unique, and encourage our own students to also take on that approach, to be more open-minded, to have open hearts and open minds. And that's why you're a treasure, Edgar. You are very open-minded. You have an open heart. As all Gnostic Christians, we have this, and we should be in this pursuit of gnosis and love, the ways of Christ, even ways of Buddha. He was very peaceful, very similar. These teachers, they all came across this same universal truth, and that was love guides the way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's so many similarities with the teachings of Buddha or Hindu schools, various, with the Gnostic. Just like I said, I was flabbergasted, and that I got the same message in somewhere I did not expect, because I was brought up in not religious family, so neither Christian or anything. And in Russia, you see people are, well, various types of people, but the traditional ways, Russian Orthodoxy, which is not that very welcoming to other tradition, to say the least. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way it happened. And so I had a biased understanding of Christianity, because if you just go by the traditional schools, you wouldn't particularly think of inclusivity, right? Or some advanced spiritual ideas, such as reincarnation or rebirth or karma. So I was ignorant of all that. So it's fantastic that Gnosticism is revived, and we have the chance to stay in the cultural milieu that we maybe are slightly more comfortable with, right? And you don't need to become, somebody else. Usually, if you want to be a Hindu, a fully fledged, well, most of the time you kind of you have to accept particular culture fully. Not necessarily, you can combine, but in general, it could be a bit difficult in terms of culture and social understanding. So that's why it's great to have what we have now.
Absolutely. And you were going to take on some students in the future. We were talking before about School of Thought you were going to open up, a ministry, a church. If you'd like to talk a little bit about this.
Oh yes, yeah. So a parish, probably that's the better way to put it, and of the Gnostic Union. And my idea is that it will be a particularly, not designed, but maybe with the core idea of concentrating on our true self, the pneuma in Greek, or the spirit. And well, that's the for every Gnostic, that's the main thing, because Gnosis is the realization of what we truly are. And so, but with that parish, which I hope to call the Divine Pleroma parish, so I hope to organize some practices that are already developed for more focusing on our true self, and trying to not so much identify with the perishable wrecks, as they call them in Gnostic scriptures sometimes, which unfortunately is, if we only identify with that, or mostly identify with that, that's the source of all troubles and all the suffering, because that's a wrong identity. That is just a garment that we wear. And so my understanding is that the more we identify with the true self, through the practice, through the contemplation, through daily living as well, always coming back to the actual our core nature, the more we do that, the more we will be our true nature and less of the garment, which anyway, sooner or later, we will have to dismiss. And so that is the idea. And I'm very grateful to Bishop Nathan for the Gnostic Union, which accommodates such such ideas and such wishes of of the clergy. Thank you so much for that also.
I personally love to see with every child of God is one person seeking new ways to experience a personal relationship with what's divine, and personally also develop themselves. That's the Gnostic path, the Gnostic Christian path of developing oneself, being close to what's divine and building themselves. And also even developing new prayers, which is something you're also thinking about doing as well. And if you'd like to talk a bit about prayer, we can also talk a little bit about prayer. I discussed to you personally about my own personal prayer that I discuss. Would you like to discuss something that you're thinking about doing that we had a private chat about as well, Edgar? Brother Edgar.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I'd be happy to maybe hear what's your take, and what actually you do, if you wish to, and then maybe I can say a few words of what's going on here.
Oh, fantastic. Because you mentioned about you were going to do the rosary prayer. I personally, when I do my prayer, I start off with, sometimes I'll say a little thing like, as children do, I trample on these clothing, I'll take off my clothes and I'll put on a robe. And then from there, I will maybe have a flute and I'll play that. And I'll mention a little short prayer about how everything of sound, song and speech, thought and forethought is in replication of the Father, source of all good things. And then I would begin a Shema prayer, Hear, O Israel, for example. But I will also mix it up saying, Hear, Mother Earth. El Elyon, for instance, is our God. I'll mention that sort of prayer. Then I'll move on to a Jesus prayer, also known as the John the Baptist prayer. There's many Jesus prayers, as we've also discussed, which I used my translation of the Gospel of Luke. I used the 3 alternative translations, such as give us our daily necessaries of life, our daily maintenance, and I'll even say bread. So I'll mix it up. And I'll do that 3 times in a row, so every alternative translation once. And then I'll say the Holy God, Holy Almighty, Holy Immortal, mercy on us, in reference to my family, in reference to all Gnostic Christians, myself personally as well, obviously, which I actually just said. Then I'll begin my own prayers that comes from my heart. And that would be my prayer. And then I might finish off with a couple of singing of psalms or something in honoring of Yeshua. And then I might do a little meditation, and that would be it. That's something I do personally.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's great. Well, I combine. Yeah, so I mostly do the rosary, the one which I developed some time ago, which I called the Divine Spark Rosary, and it uses the traditional Catholic prayer beads, but with various Gnostic prayers, and the central chant, which goes on the main beats of the 10 and 10 and 10, is simply that recollection of our true self, eternal spirit, divine spark. And you continue, I'm eternal spirit, divine spark, eternal spirit, divine spark. So we identify with the truth. Then continue with some more Gnostic prayers at the different beats. I kind of decided to actually, for example, if that's a traditional Catholic rosary. So usually when you do the round, then you stop here. You stop here. You don't go more. But I thought, then why waste? I know it's not traditional, and it's not the way it's done, but we can continue using that until going to the cross. So we do the full round, so we can do more prayers at this bits at the end. So that's basically the central Gnostic thing that I do. Then I also try to, when I remember and in daily life, is to recite the short, the Jesus prayer that is used in Orthodox churches all over the world. Which is Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me. And you can say a sinner, the full version. But some Gnostics, I know, they do not like to say a sinner because, well, obviously it goes against the true self then, in a way. Because if the true self is the pneuma, which is ever free, ever bright, it is not a sinner. So if you say a sinner, you may identify with the body. There is some kind of problem there. But I don't see it this way. I see it that still, as the pneuma is in the body right now, in the rags, so to some extent we are working here, we're doing things, we are not totally separate, and we create lots of problems for ourselves, for others, lots of harm, lots of negativity. That part is a sinner. And recognizing it is also important. It's not only that, oh yes, now I'm the divine spark, that's it, that's my true nature. Good if you can actually act in this way, but 99.9% of us can't. We still engaged with this stuff, and that stuff creates sin. So when you recognize that, it's also important. So you have two things. You have the true self, and at the same time understanding that this body, mind, organism is the creator for all the problems. So that is the two things I do, and I still do the Hindu practice because I still feel it extremely important, and based on Bhagavad Gita, which is, I guess, one of the most amazing spiritual writings of all time, is applicable to all religions because it's absolutely amazing, Bhagavad Gita. So that's what I do, basically.
Beautiful. I also loved about the name regarding pleroma, and something that I also do in regarding when I use the rosemary, I use the full thing as well. I see that very matching, having it be the fullness. And that's beautiful, Edgar. Truly beautiful. So I got those two together. So I seen that you named the pleroma, and I seen this is like very symbolic for the fullness, as pleromos means the fullness. Yeah. So being complete again, being the fullness of God. So beautiful, the fullness of the divine, etc. But fantastically said. And as this was just mostly introduction, we will see more of Edgar very soon. Hopefully the next video will be a communion/mass that we can do with the other members. If not, we will do another chat to which we can announce you as a priest. And I very much look forward to that. So thank you so much for being here with me, Brother Edgar.
Thank you so much, Bishop Nathan. Thank you very much. See you again soon.
I'll end this recording. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. Bless you all. Take care.